Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking, coming to you with another video review. The game I am reviewing today is Voluspa. This is an umlaut over here, okay, it's a game that has a Norwegian theme, because this is Odin, the All-Father. This is a tile-laying game that you will be placing these little tiles with like, here, hold on, like there's Odin right there. You'll be placing these little tiles on the board, kind of creating your game board as you play. Tile laying games have been around for a while. I mean, in its own way, like Scrabble is a tile laying game, or Bananagrams if you played that. Banana. But like games like Carcassonne or Alhambra, things like that, tile laying games have been really cool. I've always enjoyed tile laying games because of the fact that you aren't constricted to a game board. You kind of are allowed to just kind of go each and every way. Carcassonne has been a big hit with my family and has been ever since I first played it. But regardless, Voluspa is a tile laying game in which each person has different tiles representing different Viking gods, or Norse gods, and Norse mythological beasts, such as trolls or Fenris the wolf, and you'll be placing those on the board in the attempt to score more points than everybody else that's playing. Each tile has its own ability, and as the game progresses, you just kind of are able to, just with clever use of those tiles, hopefully you're able to beat your opponents. The nuts and bolts of the game is for 2 to 5 people. I have not played it with 5. I kind of feel like it would get a little congested with 5. But I played it with 4, 3, and 2. I've enjoyed it with all those, but I've most enjoyed it with the 2 people. My wife and I have enjoyed playing this one quite a bit. So I'm going to show you how to play the game as it is, and then I will go ahead and tell you exactly why I enjoy it, and maybe somewhere along the way you'll figure out whether this game is something that you're interested in. Also, just, you know, the designer, I've never, Scott Caputo or Caputo, I don't know if I've ever played anything else by him. I may have, if he's got more than one game. But this is a Stronghold Games release, and it should be in stores now or very, very, very shortly. When Stephen Bonacore asked me if I wanted to review the game, I was just like, it's about Vikings, enough said, so yeah, please send me the game. Let me give it a shot. But anyway, let me show you how to play Voluspa, and then I'll tell you exactly what I think. Alright, here we go. Learning how to play Voluspa is very simple and very straightforward. You can teach this game in just a couple of minutes. It's when you add in the different values of the tiles and the different tile abilities, the game becomes a little clever and a little interesting, and makes the game kind of challenging. To begin the game, you have these giant stacks of tiles. Each person will take 5 tiles. Your hand will always be 5 tiles in the game. And then you take one, and you flip it over and you place it in the middle of the game board, and that'll be the tile that you're building off of. These tiles are actually, like, they're pretty big and they're thick. They have nice little artwork. This tile is the goddess of the hunt, Skadi. It has a value of 3, and there's some iconography as far as what the power of this tile is, and I'll go through all of them. But for starters, this is just the first tile we place, like so, like that. And the bottom line of how you score points is that whenever you place a tile that completes a row of at least 2 tiles, so as soon as you place it, and you place them orthogonally, not diagonally, whenever you place a tile, if the value of the tile that you place next to the tile is, well, I should say the value of the tile that is placed for that row is higher than anything else in that row, you will score points for that row. So let me just see here. If I grab that won't work here. So you know, regardless to any powers of this tile, which is a dragon, if you were to place the tile next like so, the 5 is greater than the 3, and therefore this would be worth 2 points to the player. And you have a scoreboard that comes with the game, and you just simply have your marker on there and you go up the board like so. So that's the only like real game board that you get with the game. But anyway, so like this would be worth 2 points if you completed that particular row. But if you had, and I do apologize, I think I referenced this as being Heimdall or whatever, but this is actually Thor. But if like the next person came and placed a tile like so, Thor is greater than 7 is greater than 5, which is greater than 3, and so then that would be worth 3 points for that player. But of course you can start building off and completing multiple rows. So let's just, for whatever, let's just place this one like so right there, and place that one right there. And like I said, I'll explain what each of these tiles do, but I just wanted to set up a situation that might come into play as you're playing the game. And Odin, the tile, has 8, and he's like the All-Father and obviously the most powerful. If you were to place Odin in this location, like so, he would score, because he has a greater score than both of these two tiles here, a 5 and a 5. He'd score 3 there, and he'd score 2 there, and that would score him a total of 5 points for that particular row. So you can see how, like, as the game board slowly builds up, you're able to, score more than one location, depending on the rows and so forth. And so having the right tiles in the right places is how you're going to be able to score points. Now then, let's just pull some of these off here so I can kind of go over some of the different powers of the different tiles. So just don't worry about any of these abilities as far as those tiles are concerned. We're going to be using that just to kind of show how this works. The Odin tile and the Thor tile have no special powers. They just have a high score. Odin has an 8, Thor has a 7. Obviously, when you have tiles that have higher values like that are higher than most of the other tiles, you're going to be scoring points with them. Trolls have a value of 6, like so, and you'll notice there's that little X and all those little orthogonal directions. So if you were to, like, say, place, he wouldn't be worth any points in this situation if you place them there, because Thor is actually stronger. But if you were to, say, place the troll there, he'd be worth 2 points in that situation. But the power of the troll is that no one can place a tile next to the troll unless they place another troll. That's what the troll's power is. And plus, they're pretty powerful, too. They have a 6. The dragon, let me just pull the dragon out and go like this. I can show you what the dragon does. The dragon has the ability to be placed on any other tile, and it nullifies that particular tile. Here, let me just set something up that would actually look neat here. So here you have a 7 with Thor sitting here in that particular row. And here you have a dragon. And a dragon, like I said, can be placed on top of the next one. You can't place a dragon on top of a tile next to a troll. So I couldn't place him here because it's next to a troll. And you can't place him on top of a troll, and you can't place a dragon on top of another dragon. However, you could go ahead and place him over Thor like that. You've covered up the 7, so the 5 now is the highest number in that row, and now you could score those points. You could score 3. I just placed one of these wolf, the Fenrir, or the Fenris wolf, or Fenrir, whatever you refer to him as. If you follow Norse mythology, you know what I'm talking about. The value of the wolf is always the sum of all the Fenris tiles in the same row or the column. So you check and see which row, how many of these wolves are in that particular row that is, and then you can multiply that by 4. So if you have enough of these, they can be really powerful. So say you had this row here, and you had a Odin on that spot. So Odin's an 8, and I gotta find a couple of wolves here, and I do apologize. But, and say there was already another wolf in that particular row, like so. Now, normally, right now there's 2 wolves, and so that is a total of 8 points. Because the 2 wolves, 2 times 4, obviously, is 8. But, and of course I'm not going to be able to find a wolf right now. But if you were able to place another wolf, there we go, like so, like that, you would look at this row, and you go 1, 2, 3. There's 3 wolves in that particular row. That means the wolves have the power of 12. 12 is higher than 8, and now you can score that row, and you can score 6 points. It should be noted that no row or column can ever be greater than 7. So there is a limit to like how long and ridiculous you could like grow out a row to score you some points. I placed the Scotty here. You can place this tile normally, like you always do, or you can exchange a tile on the table with the Scotty and add the exchange tile to your hand. She's only a power 3, but you can use her very situationally to be able to take something off to perhaps get a nice tile in your hand. You can even place them on top of a dragon, and then you would take the dragon tile, and then the tile that's underneath the dragon is just discarded. So like if you put Scotty on top of a dragon like so, you would let's put that back right there. You would take that, and then whatever tile's underneath the dragon, you discard it. But then you get to take the dragon into your hand. Normally after you've done a turn, you take another tile from the pile. If you've used a Scotty, you just take this tile and you don't get to draw another one. You can't ever have more than 5 tiles in your hand. Valkyries are here, and you notice Valkyries are a power 2, so here's a situation where a power is 3, like you can actually play them with a power 3. When you place a Valkyrie at one side of a line, so the line begins and ends with the Valkyrie on both sides, you score the line. And you can, so in other words, you can actually win a line using these, as long as, for example, let's just take those and place them like that. If you were able to place them both on either side, that would be worth 5 points, even though the power of 2 is less than all those tiles that's in the middle. Finally, in the base game, this is not the expansion tiles, which I'll explain in just a moment. You have a Loki tile, and Loki, you can see, has a power of 1, but tiles adjacent to Loki have a value of 0, except other Loki tiles. So you use this situationally to lower the values of other tiles that are around you, to enable you to have power over those particular spots and so forth. Now, as I said, you get an expansion with the game which just adds a few tiles to the game. The big difference with the game is that each person will get a tile for the goddess Hel. You notice that there is no score on Goddess of Hel, and you can either place it, the tile must be placed face down on top of another tile, and any powers of the cover tile are nullified. And so you can notice on the back here, there is the bleached stones of Hel. Hel is treated as a gap in a line. Lines up to 7 tiles may form in all 4 directions from the Hel tile. So you can stop if you had a, well, you would understand. If you have a line of 7, normally you can't build anything off of that. So if for whatever reason you had a line of 7 like so, and you placed one in the middle, now that causes a break in the line, and now you can build further out in either way, and so you can actually restart those lines, obviously. And then you score 1 point for each tile that is adjacent to the tile the Hel tile you just placed, and that includes diagonal. So you would score, in this case, it would score 2, but if it was completely surrounded, you'd score every single one of them. The Hel tile, it doesn't count towards your 5 tile limit because you just get one, and you only get that one. And in a 2-player game, each person gets 2. And you don't draw a replacement. You can play Hel next to a troll, even though normally you can't with a troll. and no other tile can be put on top of a tile once it's been placed. Nothing else that ever gets placed on something can't. You can't use a huntress god to take it. You can only place a tile adjacent to only a hell tile. Like when you place a new one, it can only be adjacent to it, and then you score 1 point because you don't count this as anything. It just kind of like creates kind of a wasteland, if you will. But you can use it to score some points immediately, which is kind of nice. Here I just put this one out. This is the giants, the ice giants, or the Jotun as they're called. You get to bump tiles around, except hell tiles, to up either end of the line. If you do that, you put Jotun in its place. So if you have, well, once again, you have this row, you have the ability to like place a tile, and you bump it all the way to the other side of the row, like so. And then you get to place the Jotun on the other side. And so then you can, once again, score as normal. If you bump a dragon, you bump both the dragon and the tile that's underneath. And you can't bump a troll. And you can't bump a non-troll next to a troll. Trolls are really kind of powerful in this game. I actually really like those tiles. You can't create a line that's longer than 7. And actually, I did this incorrectly because of the fact that there's a hell tile in here. You can't pass a gap. So let's just move that away. So if you did this, the hell tile would have to not be there for that to work, because you can't have them cross over anything. There's a sea serpent tile. Let me find that one real quick. Another one of Loki's evil offspring. Sea serpent only scores when it has the highest value among all the tiles in its row in the column, including tiles across gaps. This is a little bit probably more difficult. Like, this is the one tile that like I actually had some trouble understanding exactly what it did when I first started. This is the only one really. The sea serpent, what it does is the sea serpent is the only tile that actually like kind of breaks the whole spatial aspect of the game. So let me explain really quickly. So if you have a let's say like there's a line here like so, like that, and you place a sea serpent in this location, like so. Now, sea serpent is going to score these 3 tiles as it normally does. Just 1, 2, 3, done. But you also get to score this way, even though there's no tiles here. It goes across the gaps, and so what it does is it higher than this 4? Yes. So you can actually count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can have a hell tile in here as well. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he gets this. So in this case, the sea serpent being placed there actually gets you 7 points. Like I said, this is the one that kind of like breaks the rules of all the other tiles in the game, and so it was a little confusing when we first tried to figure out exactly what it does, just because it was so much different than the other ones that we had played. And the final tile that you have is Hermod, the messenger god. There's always a god that's super fast. When you play Hermod, you can play another tile in the same line when Hermod is placed, and you can play multiple tiles of this if you wish. This is the only tile that allows you to score multiple times on a turn, and also play more than one tile. So in a lot of situations, like, you won't be able to score the Hermod because he's only a power of 3. So I mean, in a perfect situation, maybe you'd have just this 1 and a 2, and you play Hermod like so, and you would score 3 points for that particular spot. And if you're lucky enough to have another Hermod, you'd play that, and then you'd immediately score 4 points for that. And then maybe you have you have an Odin, and then you play that, and then you score 5 points for that. This is the only time you ever get to actually play more than one tile, and it's the only time that you actually are drawing more than one tile into your hand after your turn. And so, that's the the last two, both the Sea Serpent and Hermit, are the ones that kind of mess with the game, if you will. So, but you keep playing like that. You keep building your board and all the different tiles and everything that you're doing. You keep scoring points, and then the game ends when all the tiles are drawn and every player has no tiles left. Whoever's got the highest score wins the game, obviously. I should note that if there's ever a situation where you just can't play a tile for whatever reason, say trolls or whatever block, and you just can't, you have to discard a tile, and you actually discard that tile into the box. It's gone. And then you draw another tile, and hopefully when your next turn comes, you're able to play another tile. But there you go. That's how you play Voluspa. But let me tell you exactly what I think of the game. One of those cool things, remember I showed you the score track? One of the cool things that I didn't show you is that on the back, they put the art on there. I always like it. Like I've mentioned this in other videos. I always like it when they kind of go the extra mile and make things look nice within a game. So kudos to Stronghold Games or White Goblin Games or whoever it was who came up with the design to do that. I will also mention that the game, as your... I forgot to show this to you, and I do apologize. As you're playing and you have your marker and you place that on there and you're scoring. If you ever score more than 50 points, and someone will, you get these little tokens. And then you just, let's say, plus 50 on one side and plus 100 on the other. And then you just, obviously place your token there. And then you can move that on the board to show that you scored more points. I myself have not been able to use the plus 100 side yet. But then again, I am horrible at games. I've said that many times. So why do I review games? I don't know. Probably because I feel like if I review games, I'll get better at them. Anyway, so there you go, Voluspa. What do I think? I've always liked tile laying games. I kind of like the whole idea of, like I said in the introduction, of building the board as we play, and just because that allows you to kind of have fun and do everything. And I really, really like games that have variable powers for different pieces, whether it be cards or different characters or what have you. The whole variable player powers situation. I love being able to combine different things with the trolls and the different gods and Heimdall and things like that. I love being able to look at the tiles that you have and figuring out a way to figure out that puzzle to score your points. And I also like how you get to build off of the other players' actions, as far as them building up certain things that they think will assist them, and then you're able to capitalize on the tiles that they lay and actually improve yourself. And obviously that's an old standby. I mean, all tile laying games have that. But what this game has for me in particular that makes me enjoy it is the theme. I really, really dig the theme. Obviously, I'm like as I've said before, I am mostly Norwegian in descent, and I have a great deal of theoretically Viking blood coursing through my veins, and so I've read a lot about the Norse mythology and the history of the Vikings and things like that, and I'm always greatly intrigued and interested in that theme. And secondly, I really like the way all like the certain powers and the abilities of these particular gods and tiles work together, and the kind of risk reward effort that you're going through in trying to put together that perfect little line or that perfect little scoring attempt that you have. The game says it comes with this free expansion. Basically it's 4 extra tiles, which I showed you already. The Sea Serpent, the Giants. Well, here I can look right here. Hermid, Hell, Jotun, and Sea Serpent are like the 4 extra tiles that are the expansion, and it comes with that. Honestly, I would just throw them in right away and just and play with the expansion. But do play it how you want to, of course. I do find it really cool how it even says on the back of the box right here, it's easy to play. So it is easy to play. It's a game that you can teach everybody in about 5 minutes, and the only thing that you're really going to be having difficulty in playing the game is the retention of the different powers of the different tiles, and so you just have to keep the rules handy for that very first game, and so people can go, what was that? Hold on a second, I wanted to see what the dragon can do again. Okay. Oh, I can't. Okay, very good. Now I can play that tile. And I think it would have been cool if they had like some little player cards or whatever that had little different tile abilities for each player. But ultimately, I guess passing around the rule book to each person really isn't that big of a deal. So, who do I think this game is going to appeal to? I think it's going to appeal to people that like the Viking theme. It's going to appeal to people that want a lighter game. I mean, this game is definitely not difficult by any means. It is definitely a very, very light, easy game to play. It's a good lunchroom game, as Joel Eddy likes to say. It's challenging enough and competitive enough. And that's another thing I really like about the game, is it is a very competitive game. But it isn't a competitive game in the thought that you have this whole got to think 3 or 4 turns ahead of yourself sort of thing. It's reacting on that first turn and maybe thinking ahead 1 or 2, but it's competitive in the way that you're battling for space on the board, and you're trying to outthink your opponents as far as what you think they might be playing and things like that. So yeah, if you like competitive games that are light and can be played relatively quickly and also teach newcomers very, very quickly, I think you should give Voluspa a check. Definitely, if you're a tile laying game fan, I think it's kind of an automatic pickup in my opinion. And I'm really glad that I have it on my shelf because, like I said, my wife and I have been really digging playing 2-player games of this while we, after we've gotten the kiddos to sleep, and we can enjoy each other's company for a little bit before we have to go to bed. So. All right, well, there you go. Voluspa from Stronghold Games. As I said, if it isn't in the game stores already, it will be very, very shortly. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. If you have any questions or concerns about the game, by all means, pipe in and let me know what you think, and I will answer those to the best of my ability. This is one of the first of many videos, hopefully, that I'm going to get done prior to Gen Con. So if you have a video that you'd like to see prior to August 15th, please let me know, and I'll see if I can squeeze that in. And hopefully I can get a large number of videos done before I come back from the greatest gaming convention ever with theoretically lots of cool games for me to review. Alright, well, you have an awesome day, and thank you again for watching this thing that I do. Alright, bye-bye.